When survival identities release the wisdom and freedom hidden in the shadow. What your wounded archetypes were trying to teach you all along. Welcome back. If you've been with me through this series, we've traveled through some powerful territory together. We explored what happens when an old identity begins dissolving. We stepped into the uncertainty of the void, that space between who you were and who you are becoming. We explored archetypes, survival identities, and the unconscious patterns that shaped our lives. We looked at dominant and secondary archetypes and how they influence our choices, relationships, purpose, and sense of self. And in our last episode, we talked about individuation, embodiment, and the return to the true self. But today, I want to bring this entire journey full circle, because there is one question many people eventually ask. What was that all for? What was the purpose of the pain, the overthinking, the people-pleasing, the perfectionism, the burnout, the constant need to prove ourselves? The feeling that no matter how much you achieved, something still feels missing. Why did we spend years living through identities that eventually became prisons? Stay with me until the end, because today we are going to explore why survival identities formed, what your wounded archetypes were trying to teach you, why the shadow was never your enemy, what freedom actually feels like, why there is no going back, and what happens when love, not fear, becomes the organizing force of your life. The shadow was never the enemy. Let's start with something that may change how you view your entire healing journey. Many people approach healing as if they are trying to get rid of parts of themselves. They want to get rid of anxiety, fear, self-doubt, people-pleasing, perfectionism, and the shadow. But what if those parts were never your enemies? What if they were intelligent adaptations? What if they were doing exactly what they were designed to do? Carl Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you would call it fate." The key word here is unconscious, because the problem was never the archetype. The problem was never the adaptation. The problem was unconscious identification with it. Science and spirit say the same thing. From a neuroscience perspective, the brain and nervous system are designed for survival. Your nervous system does not prioritize happiness, it prioritizes safety. If you grew up in an environment where approval felt necessary for survival, your nervous system adapted. If achievement brought praise, achievement became a strategy. If staying quiet prevented conflict, silence became a strategy. If taking care of everyone else earned love, caregiving became a strategy. They were not flaws. These were intelligent adaptations. The nervous system was trying to protect you. Spiritually, we might say something similar using different language. The soul enters contrast to remember truth. The personality develops defenses until it remembers its essence. The ego learns through separation and lack until it remembers connection and abundance. Different language, same truth. For example, the hero. Let's make this practical. Perhaps your dominant archetype was the hero. The hero learned, "I must prove my worth." The hero becomes the achiever, the performer, the one who carries everything, the one everyone depends on, the one who never stops. Eventually, the hero burns out and becomes resentful. Not because courage was wrong, but because worth became attached to performance. The hidden lesson was courage and worthiness, just because one exists. The healed hero understands, I am worthy before I achieve, because I simply am. Imagine how much energy is released when you no longer need to earn your right to exist. The caregiver, on the other hand, became the strong one, the helper, the rescuer, the person everyone called when life fell apart, the emotional container. You learned love requires sacrifice, so you gave, and gave. Until one day you realized you had become exhausted and depleted. The hidden lesson was not self-abandonment or self-betrayal. The hidden lesson was compassion without attachment and absorption. The healed caregiver understands, I can love others without abandoning myself, from a place of plenty and discernment. That realization changes everything. The rebel. Maybe you were the rebel. You questioned everything, challenged systems, refused to conform, and were often called difficult when you were actually being truthful. The wounded rebel believes, if I reject first, I cannot be rejected. The healed rebel understands something different. The lesson was authenticity, truth, balance, and integrity. The healed rebel no longer needs to fight every battle. Truth becomes embodied rather than defended. The lover. Perhaps you were the lover. You searched for connection, intimacy, and belonging. You wanted to merge so completely with another that you would finally feel whole. But eventually, you discovered something profound. No one can complete what you have not yet reclaimed within yourself. Self-love, self-approval, self-acceptance are reclaimed and embodied. The hidden lesson was not dependency or transactional love. The hidden lesson was a meaningful and a balanced connection first with the self and love born from wholeness, integrity, and self-respect. The healed lover understands, I can remain connected to others without losing connection to myself, to source. The shadow was a teacher. Joseph Campbell wrote, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. For many of us, that cave was the shadow self. The very thing we were trying to avoid contained the lesson we most needed to learn. The perfectionist was learning self-acceptance and wholeness. The overachiever was learning intrinsic worthiness and deservedness. The people pleaser was learning healthy boundaries and energetic integrity. The ruler was learning trust and power without domination and control. The shadow was never punishment. The shadow was preparation. I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself, which survival identity carried me through life? Was it the hero, the caregiver, the rebel, the creator, the sage, the explorer, the ruler, and so on? And comment below. The lesson I learned was not the wound, the lesson, because that lesson may reveal the gift hidden inside your shadow, and once integrated, the trapped energy and power become available and repurposed into your mission of wholeness and coherence with your truth. The moment everything begins to change, there is something fascinating that happens during deep transformation. At first, it barely feels like anything is happening. Learn, reflect, observe, and become aware. You notice patterns, you begin questioning old assumptions, you start recognizing survival identities, you begin setting boundaries. You stop abandoning yourself quite so often. Yet externally, life may appear almost unchanged. You still wake up, go to work, pay bills, take care of responsibilities, navigate relationships, handle challenges. And because the changes initially happen inside, many people assume nothing is really changing. But that isn't true. The most important changes are already underway. They are simply invisible at first, because you are recalibrating your whole internal system, just as water gradually cools before becoming ice. Just as a seed develops beneath the soil before it breaks through the surface, transformation often happens long before it becomes visible. It is an inside job first. This is why so many people underestimate how much progress they have actually made. They focus on what still needs healing and fixing what is still lacking, instead of recognizing what has already been liberated. The quantum moment. There comes a point when all those small internal shifts begin reorganizing into an entirely new way of being. You have attained a new vibrational baseline, not because you forced it or perfected yourself or because you finally figured out everything. Something deeper happens. A threshold is crossed, a tipping point or critical mass is reached. The system reorganizes into a new state, operating under a new framework of reality. Experientially, one day you notice you no longer spend 3 days replaying a difficult conversation, or feel compelled to explain yourself to everyone, or chase validation from people who cannot see you, or need to convince others of your worth, or feel responsible for everyone else's emotion. Those may seem like small changes. They are not. They represent an entirely different nervous system reality, a different version of you, more true, more present, more whole. The old operating system was organized around survival. The new operating system is organized around coherence. What does freedom actually feel like? Let's talk about something people rarely discuss, which is experienced sometime for the first time after years of becoming. Because many people imagine freedom as a dramatic event, a breakthrough, a lightning bolt, a mystical experience, and sometimes it is. But more often, freedom feels surprisingly simple. Freedom feels like sleeping better, breathing slower and deeper, trusting yourself, source, and your path more, and being more grateful. Second-guessing yourself less, making decisions without endless internal debate, being able to say no without carrying guilt or shame for 3 weeks, feeling comfortable in your own company, experiencing moments of peace and joy without needing a reason. Freedom feels like no longer carrying the emotional weight of identities you have outgrown. Freedom feels lighter, not because life becomes easier, but because you stop carrying what was never yours to carry. The love frequency. Now let's talk about one of the most misunderstood words in both spirituality and personal growth: love. Many people hear the word love and immediately think of romance, relationships, attraction, and partnerships. That is not what I mean here. I am talking about love as a frequency, love as a state of consciousness, love as the organizing and generating principle. Research in heart-brain coherence has demonstrated that emotional states such as appreciation, gratitude, compassion, and love create greater psychological harmony throughout the body. When coherence increases, stress decreases, resilience improves, creativity expands, intuition becomes clearer, emotional regulation improves. Ancient wisdom have been pointing toward this reality for thousands of years. Different language, same truth. Love is not weakness or passivity or allowing people to walk all over you or the avoidance of difficult conversations. Love is alignment with truth. Love is remaining connected to yourself while remaining connected to Source and others. Love is honoring reality rather than figuring it out. Love is remembering that separation is often an illusion created by fear. Love is trusting the divine intelligence guiding and protecting us. Love is recognizing and embodying both our divine and human self. Love is flowing, playing our unique tune in harmony with the universe. Love is trusting divine timing while we prepare to receive. Love gives from overflow and receives in balance. As it is embodied, eventually, love becomes more powerful than fear. And when that happens, everything begins changing. The new world. Many people tell me I feel like I'm living in a different reality. And honestly, in some ways, they are, because the rules have changed. The old reality was governed by separation, fear, hypervigilance, scarcity, limitations, comparison, performance, need for control, external approval, and validation. The new reality operates differently. Trust becomes more effective than force. Alignment becomes the norm instead of a struggle. Presence replaces performance. Authenticity supplants approval. Coherence dethrones the need for control, chasing and hustling. You begin asking different questions. Instead of, how do I ever survive this? You begin asking, how do I fully show up? Instead of, how do I earn love? You begin asking, how do I embody love? Instead of, how do I avoid rejection? You begin asking, how do I remain authentic? This is not merely personal growth. This is an evolutionary shift in consciousness. A spiritual being having a human experience. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin famously said, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience, we are spiritual beings having a human experience." For many years, this idea has sounded philosophical, interesting, perhaps even inspiring. Then one day it becomes experiential. You begin realizing you are not your thoughts, your emotions, or even your body. You are aware of your thoughts, emotions, and your body and its sensations, but you are no longer identified with them or limited and controlled by them. You are not your archetypes. You are aware of your archetypal energies and whether they are healed or unhealed. You are not your survival identities, but become aware of them and they function. The observer becomes stronger than the pattern. The self becomes stronger than the adaptation. Presence becomes stronger than conditioning. And everything begins reorganizing from there. Why there is no going back? Many people ask, what if I lose this? What if I fall back into old patterns? What if I become the old version of myself again? These are natural concerns, but there is something reassuring I want you to understand. You may revisit old behaviors. You may encounter old triggers. You may uncover deeper layers. That is normal. Individuation is a lifelong process. Healing is layered. Growth is cyclical. However, once awareness reorganizes perception, you cannot completely return to unconsciousness. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Once you begin that journey, life itself begins supporting it." The old infrastructure has been dismantled. The old identities no longer fit. The old masks fail and feel uncomfortable. The old stories no longer feel true or relevant. You have seen, experienced, and learned too much. You have become too aware. The field itself no longer supports who you used to be. And while you may revisit familiar territory from time to time, you will never experience it in quite the same way again. If you've noticed yourself becoming lighter, if you've noticed yourself spending less energy proving If you've noticed yourself choosing authenticity over approval, if you've noticed yourself feeling more peace than panic, comment below. My reality changed. There is no turning back. Because in many ways, it has. Because you have. Final transmission. Take a moment and reflect on how much energy survival required. How much energy was spent trying to be enough, chosen, understood, safe, and perfect. Trying to prove yourself and to maintain identities that were never fully yours. Now, imagine what becomes available when that energy is released. More peace, joy, creativity, connection, purpose, freedom, and more life. Rumi wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Perhaps the shadow was never the end of the story. Perhaps it was the doorway that brought you here, to this moment, to this awareness, to this version of yourself. Not perfect, but whole and more awake, conscious, coherent, aligned, and freer. And perhaps freedom was never becoming someone else. Perhaps freedom was allowing everything false to fall away first, until only truth remained, until only love remained, until only the authentic expression of life itself remained. As Pierre Teilhard de Chardin beautifully said, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And now you get to live that experience consciously, fully, and wholeheartedly." If this transmission resonated with you, comment, "I am free," or "I am remembering." And if you are ready to discover the archetypal patterns that shaped your journey and the gift hidden inside them, take the upcoming Sovereign Archetype Blueprint Assessment. Because transformation is not something you merely understand, it is something you embody. The frequency calls, the fire rises, enter at your own shift. Still Fire 1111. And if this resonated with you, subscribe to the series, download the free ebook Energy is Everything, using science and spirit to master vibrational reality, free for subscribers of Still Fire 1111, and to celebrate my launch on Heal Me, book a free 20-minute discovery call. This is not about becoming someone else. This is about finally allowing who you are to organize your life. Heal deep, rise sovereign. The fire rises, and now it radiates. Enter at your own shift. Welcome.